No one has more state pride than New Mexicans. The vibrant culture, bold flavors, unique history, and dramatic landscapes under our Zia sun are like no other. And the people of New Mexico are a rare breed. As diverse as we are, together we breathe life and soul into this high desert land, a land that promises adventure. I'm Michael Newman, and as your host, I'll be taking you with me as I seek out the best the Land of Enchantment has to offer.
New Mexico, it feels like home to me. It feels so true. It's time well spent when I spend it with you.
Thanks for watching another episode of New Mexico True Television. I'm your host, Michael Newman. In this episode, we're delving into the lores and legends of the Old Wild West and the people that keep it alive. Every June, sharpshooters from all around the world gather in Edgewood, 30 minutes east of Albuquerque, for the Single Action Shooting Society's, aka SAS, End of Trail competition. This event is not just for fans of the sport, but for anyone with a love and fascination for the Wild West.
End of Trail has always been cast as a Wild West festival. And of course we want the public to come out. See, we're a membership organization, so if they come out and they look at our fantasy game and see what we're doing, and they say, yeah, I'd like to do that, well, they can.
People are walking around in period dress and costume inspired by real historical characters. And we're not just talking about the participants. This goes for everyone. Feel free to come dressed for the occasion yourself. The SAS Founders Ranch where the event takes place looks like a real old western town or a movie set. It's not hard to imagine what the Old West felt like, except these streets are safer than those in the late 1800s. SAS originated in California in 1980, and the End of Trail competition began shortly thereafter, making its move to New Mexico in 2004. With over 30 categories, there's something for everyone.
It's the same game we played as kids, Cowboys and Indians. The only difference now is in the price of our toys.
Aside from the various shooting competitions, there's antique shooting galleries, Wild West medicine shows, instructions in card sharpening and sleight of hand, and Victorian face painting. In this day and age, this is as close as you can get to the Wild West. So mark your calendar and head on over this way for the End of Trail. When you want to see the Old West come to life at the End of Trail World Championship, here's some things to consider. This event takes place every year at the Founders Ranch, the home base for the Single Action Shooting Society in Edgewood, just half an hour east of Albuquerque. Beyond the shooting competitions, live music, food, shopping, and performances make for a full and entertaining day for the whole family. Check the Single Action Shooting Society's calendar for other competitions and educational events around the state. And now, from the pages of New Mexico Magazine. A great mini road trip from Ruidoso is a cruise along the Billy the Kid Scenic Byway. Packed with history that inspired countless books and movies, and legends that have grown stronger with time, this trip invokes a sense of what it meant to really live in the Wild West. My first stop along the route is at Fort Stanton, a fort initially established in 1855 to help protect early settlers from raids by the Apache Indians. I met up with Larry Pope, the fort's site manager, to learn more about the earlier life and times of this fascinating place. This place is like a whole time capsule. I feel like I'm in another era.
You are. Come see what we've got.
Okay. So what's the historical significance of Fort Stanton?
Fort Stanton has got a long history, and if you look at the architecture of all the buildings that's surrounding, it's indicative of the many different eras that we have here.
The fort, in its many incarnations, operated as a tuberculosis hospital and as an internment site for German merchant seamen during World War II.
This building here was built in 1855, originally as a barracks for the fort at that time. During the hospital years, it was converted into a dining hall and kitchen facility. But this is one of our newest reconstructions. What we've done is we brought the visitor back into 1858 by remaking that barracks. Well, this is an example of one of the bunks that we have here at the fort. And this is actually a 4-man bunk. 2 men on top and 2 men on bottom.
In that tight space.
In that tight little space, they would sleep head to toe. What you would get is extra body heat. You'd get to share blankets and everything. And this is where the term bunkie comes from, if you ever heard that one.
Situated along the picturesque Rio Bonito, you can see why this land was such a draw for early settlers, and why so many travelers still venture to this part of Lincoln County today. And as much as I hate to leave, I'm excited for my next stop, Lincoln, New Mexico, the old stomping grounds of one of the state's most notorious historical characters, Billy the Kid. As soon as you pull into Lincoln, it's as if you are stepping back in time. The town is perfectly preserved, and you can't help but to feel like you're going to run into Pat Garrett, John Chisholm, or Billy the Kid in the Regulators on any given corner. This town was the hot seat for the Lincoln County War, a range war between rival factions in 1878 in what was then the New Mexico Territory. The amount of history here is mind-boggling. Thankfully, I was able to have the monument's manager, Gary Cousins, to show me around and break some of it down for me.
Lincoln is one of the 8 historic sites in the state of New Mexico.
Gary started off the tour with one of the most popular sites in Lincoln, the Tunstall store. John Tunstall was a prominent rancher and merchant whose operation rivaled that of James Dolan, just down the road. Tunstall had Billy the Kid and the Regulators on his side, but Dolan had an army of his own. And the rivalry would go down in history.
Tunstall said there was a lot of money to be made in Lincoln County, and he intended to make half of it. But he underestimated James Dolan. And about 20-30 miles southeast of here on February 18th, 1878, Tunstall was murdered out in the middle of nowhere, and that's what started the Lincoln County War.
That was the spark.
That was the spark. Billy the Kid was in this window right back up here with Ollinger's double-barrel shotgun. And Ollinger came to this point right here, and Billy the Kid leaned out the window and said, "Hello, Bob," and gave him both barrels of his own shotgun.
So at the end of the day, while the town may appear as it did back in the 1800s, thankfully the Wild West antics are no longer a threat. Before you hit the road, here's some things to keep in mind. Check out the calendar of events at Fort Stanton for military reenactments and candlelight tours. The Lincoln Historic Site is open 7 days a week, but on Sundays you can get free admission with your New Mexico ID. Children under 16 are always admitted for free. For more great stories like this from New Mexico Magazine, visit newmexico.org. Coming up, see what you can find when you make a wrong turn in New Mexico. Find steals and deals for your next New Mexico vacation at newmexico.org. A great day trip from Truth or Consequences takes you out on New Mexico Highway 52 on one of the state's most scenic stretches of road and through some unforgettable ghost towns. I'm making my way to Chloride. This town had its boom after word got out that Harry Pye discovered silver ore here. And as the case with all boom towns, it went bust. It stood abandoned for the most part until Don Edmond made his way into town. Don is the man chiefly responsible for bringing the abandoned ghost town back to the splendor of the late 1800s, and he's going to show me around today. Where are we right now?
Well, we're at the Mighty Crystal Saloon and Dance Hall.
Okay.
It was built in 1880, ran for 4 years as a saloon, and then in 1884 it became a schoolhouse. It was a schoolhouse for some years, and then it did other things, and now it's a gift shop and a gallery.
Huh.
It's all restored. There's about 30 local people who display their things in there.
So this is a perfect example of something that had some history.
It's got some history, and it's still in use.
Oh, I love that. Okay. So let's take a ride.
Okay, we'll go take a ride. The building we're coming up on here on the right, that was the bank, built to be the bank in 1884. Failed before it opened. Opened as the Bank Saloon. It was the ninth saloon in town. This is Pye's cabin. This was the first building in Chloride. It was built in 1879. Wow. He and 2 men built this before they started mining. The Indians killed him about 3 months later. We're coming up on the hanging tree here on the left. We asked the old timers what the story was about the hanging tree, and they said nobody really hung by the neck. And on weekends, or when the miners or cowboys were in town, if they got too rambunctious from too much to drink, they'd dunk them in the tank and chain them to the tree until they realized the error of their ways. This was the judge's office, built in 1880 by Judge Holmes. And then it was, well, it's the post office after that, and then a gambling den and a dance hall.
So that building is kind of transformed
Yeah,
over the years.
that's kind of common with buildings here. They went through a lot of things.
Of all Don's fascinating historic tales, my favorite story was how he came to be a resident of Chloride himself.
Labor Day weekend 1977, we were looking for Wall Lake over in the Gila. I made a wrong turn in Winston, and we wound up down the road here. No, not even gravel, just dirt.
Just dirt.
And I told my wife, I said, I'm on the wrong road, we got to turn around. And she said, I see some rooftops, let's drive up there. So we drove up here, and these are all derelicts. One of these buildings was derelicts. we thought we'd stumbled onto a deserted movie set. So we parked at the west end and looked down the street, and we were absolutely entranced. And my wife said, if this is deserted and if it's available, this is where we need to live.
And now the highlight of my tour, the general store.
Come on in, Michael.
Oh man.
This is what we found.
Everything intact. The Pioneer Store is one of the more amazing stores that come out of Chloride. After the mining boom went bust, the store was leased out in 1896. While it changed hands over the years, it ultimately closed and was boarded up in 1923. It remained boarded and sealed up for 73 years. So when Don came to town, he found the Pioneer Store locked up untouched, frozen in time since 1923.
And this should be a museum. Well, it was obvious.
Yeah, everything is already set in place for it to be a museum.
So we put things back pretty much where they were. We saved some of the boxes.
Let's see. I want to see some of these.
They may have holes in the back, but they're
like some. I mean, when did these date back to? Would you say?
1880 to 1923.
1880s. So some of the stuff they don't even make anymore.
The newest stuff here would be 1923.
Wow.
Post office was established here in 1881 in this corner.
Original typewriter, all that stuff?
That was here. Yeah.
No way.
The newspaper was printed upstairs, so this was kind of the center of town.
What's your favorite item out of everything?
This thing right here.
This guy?
Yeah, that thing right there. That's a fireproof credit system. They heated with wood, had wood roofs. They catch on fire, they lose their inventory, but their biggest losses were these books. There's a whole page of these. That's written to Alejandro Salas. It's dated May 8th, 1911. It's for 20 cents worth of cheese and 5 cents worth of chocolate.
No
and it's
way.
still not paid.
No, so they're still indebted to this place.
Yeah. This is the father of the food processor. That's a butter churn.
Butter churn here.
Commercial size.
Oh man. I mean, you really feel like you're there.
It's a time capsule.
And that is for dynamite.
Yeah, all the kids know what that is, Mike.
Yeah. Oh man. Uh-oh.
How you like that?
Oh, this is the
That's
dentist
a barber.
chair?
That's the dentist chair. Isn't it terrible? They tell me that the barbers did the dental work.
Oh man.
And I don't know why it got stored in here. They tell me that would have been in the barber shop.
I was blown away by the countless treasures found in this old general store. And to think this time capsule of a place exists just 40 miles off the beaten path from Elephant Butte and TRC. It's truly awesome. Where a big tourist destination is and off the beaten path, you can find a place like Chloride. And you know, the history here and the people that came through this town, and you know, it's right next to the Gila Wilderness, and I don't know, it's just something that is very special about a town like this that you can't find in many places. And many people in New Mexico kind of find that, but if you're not adventurous, if you're not trying to get out of your comfort zone, you're never going to find a place like this. But it takes a little bit of heart and a little bit of sacrifice, I think, to restore a place like this and to really take it in and call it home. Before you hit the road, here's some tips for your visit to Chloride. Chloride is just 40 miles northwest of TRC on Highway 52. This town is open for business 7 days a week. In addition to the General Store Museum, be sure and visit the gift shop and gallery representing local artists. Chloride is not the only high point along this stretch of road. Be sure to stop and check out the ghost towns of Winston and Cuchillo along the way. Don't miss out as I walk in another man's shoes, or spurs that is, coming up. Need a reason to hit the road? Find upcoming events around the state at newmexico.org. Today I'm headed out to Old Town Plaza in Albuquerque, just west of downtown and south of I-40, where every other week, the New Mexico Gunfighters Association puts on an old western street performance. And today, I've been invited to become one of the characters of the show. Whether or not I'll earn my acting chops today, I'm excited to be part of the action.
Michael, thanks a lot for coming down to Old Town. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. I'm excited. I've never done any old Wild West shootout stuff before, so what am I in store for?
Well, you're in store for live Old West comedy shows done in the streets of Old Town.
Okay.
The first thing we have to do is get you into wardrobe, because the clothes you got on they don't fit the 1880s quite right.
I get it. All right, so as long as you make me look good a little bit according to theme, I'm all good with that.
All right, well, we're gonna make you an outlaw today in our outlaw gang, so come on over here.
Oh man.
I got you a few pieces of wardrobe here. I like the pants you got on, that's
Okay,
fine.
that's so cool.
We're gonna have this go around your neck. That'll be your
This is my tie?
Yep. And then
All
we're
right.
gonna see if this hat will fit you.
Oh, yeah, okay. It looks, does that look right?
Yeah.
All right, so I got my belt, got my vest, and my makeshift tie. Okay. What about my Nikes? Is that gonna work?
Yes, you might need something a little bit different than that. Those don't look exactly time period appropriate, but
Okay.
I got you taken care of. I got you some boots and some spurs right here. These have jingle bobs on them. So don't tell your girlfriend, because that means that you're single.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, man.
Okay. So we're going to give you a line of dialogue, and you're going to come out with guns a-blaring and get shot and killed. So.
But I get it. This is real life. People did this. This is like a reenactment of it.
That's one of the things that we love down here, is to try to bring it to life as much as possible.
Why Old Town?
Well, I think Old Town is the real history. I mean, think about it. It's a 300-year-old square that's been updated over the years, but still looks like it did back then.
Right.
And what a better playground to do Old West shows than an actual place that was here in the Old West times.
Right.
And we love Old Town. It's a great place, and we're very happy that they allow us to be here. 35 years of history now with the Gunfighter Group down here. And even though we have a little bit of fun with it, you know, it's still situations and people that could have existed in the time period.
Michael Newman turns into, yeah, I have to have a name, like an outlaw name, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm trying to get into character here, so.
We'll call you Mad Mike.
He's so crazy he might shoot you.
Yeah, we all do have gunfighter names actually that we go by. I'm Dakota James Rawlings when I'm down here.
Oh.
Or in the first show, I'm going to be Buford T. Buckus, the dumb deputy. So.
Oh, okay. It's a good history lesson, but like live action.
It is, and I think we're going to start our rehearsal now.
Hey, Michael, here's your lines.
Okay. Oh, man. I have to memorize this?
Yeah, and you have 5 minutes.
Okay.
As soon as he says, howdy, fellas, that's when you come in with, drop the howdy and stuff. My brothers and me, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, you want me to practice?
Well, you don't have to, just keep reading it.
Drop the howdy and stuff. My brothers and me shot every sheriff between here and Tularosa, and I reckon you're next.
Yeah. Just remember that comes after the deputy says, howdy, fellas.
Okay.
All right?
Drop the howdy and stuff.
There you go.
That's it, right? Drop the howdy and stuff. My brothers and me have shot every sheriff between here and Tularosa, and I reckon you're next. Drop the howdy and stuff. My brothers and I have shot every sheriff between here and Tularosa, and I reckon you'll be next. Well, I certainly feel the part, and I've already heard one cast member reference Danny Glover from Lonesome Dove, so hey, I'm off to a good start. Got my game face on though, no more smiling after this.
Allow myself to introduce myself. They calls me Buford T. Buckus.
So it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about what the old Wild West was like, and especially in a place like Old Town where there's so much history. And the people in the group actually have a good sense of humor, and then bringing the old stuff to life, but giving it a comedic twist, which was cool.
What is she doing in town during daylight hours?
Howdy fellas.
Drop your howdy and stuff. Me and my brothers done shot every sheriff between here and Tularosa, and I reckon you're next. This comedy is a hit, and it's only one of more than 20 shows the New Mexico Gunfighters perform regularly. Really?
Hey, wait a minute. They're all dead. Sheriff, look at the Dallas Cowboys. They always lose on Sunday.
Well, it's certainly starting to look like things are about to heat up. This truly is what they call shoot 'em and shoot 'em. They got me all dressed up just to kill me. From the reaction of the crowd, I'd say we pulled it off.
So what'd you think? It was fun, huh?
That was cool. It was fun. You know, I had to interact with, you know, following the storyline with you guys and stuff. It was cool. And I actually believed you for a second.
That I was really dumb? Thanks, man. But good job, brother. That was great, man. Seriously good.
Thanks, very often do we get somebody and shoot him and shoot him.
Yeah, shoot him and shoot him. Things were a bit rough in the Wild West, but reenacting it sure is fun. Here's some tips on planning your visit to see the Gunfighters in action. The Gunfighter performances take place in Old Town Plaza in Albuquerque, just south of I-40 off Rio Grande Boulevard. The Gunfighter Association puts on shows in Old Town the 2nd and 4th Sundays of every month from March to October, 3 times a day. Check their calendar for more events in Albuquerque and around the state. Coming up, strange encounters of the ghostly kind. Sign up to receive monthly newsletters about events and happenings around the state at newmexico.org. Cimarron in Spanish means wild and unruly. And the St. James Hotel, with its infamous Wild West legends, lives up to the town's name. This is a beautiful, quaint hotel, but back in the day, it used to be an old Wild West saloon and inn that used to house people on the Santa Fe Trail. People like Jesse James, Buffalo Bill, as well as many other desperados and outlaws. And 26 people have been known to be killed by gunfight in this place. So this is the main dining room. And you can still look up and see 22 different bullet holes still in the ceiling. And that's not even the crazy part, because when they were replacing the floorboards above, they found over 400 bullet casings. That means there was a lot of fighting going on in this place. And this room is the high stakes poker room. Only the high rollers would come upstairs to play in this room. The darkest tale to come out of this room is that Thomas J. Wright won the whole St. James Hotel from Mr. Lampert in this room. But not very long after he won it, he found himself shot in the back and went back to his room in the hotel to die. That means there's a lot of ghosts that are hanging out in this premises. So we're gonna check in and see if there's any paranormal activity. Hello.
Hi, checking in?
Yes, ma'am. Michael Newman.
Oh, you're staying in Mary Lambert.
Mary Lambert.
Yes, that's the former owner's wife.
Oh.
You may smell her perfume.
And she's no longer alive?
She is no longer alive, but I think she occupies that room sometimes.
Oh, that's good to know. Oh, well, that's a little creepy. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
All right. This place is so eerie. Even if you don't see a ghost or hear it, you just feel like what it would have felt like back in that day. It's like a little time warp. And the paintings on the wall, everything is just, I don't know what's what anymore. So here I am, my first night at the St. James Hotel, known for many encounters with Mary Lambert, who's supposed to be haunting room 17. Hopefully I get some sleep tonight. I'll check back in with you guys. I don't want to go in there. This is a little creepy. And everything creaks. And it's a little weird that it's all pink. So I am extremely freaked out right now, but I left 2 lights on. So I have my nightlight action. So hopefully all will go well and I'll get some kind of sleep tonight. Maybe it's time to start counting sheep. If you're heading to the St. James, here are a few things you need to know before you go. No Ouija boards allowed. No, really, no Ouija boards allowed. You can request to stay in a haunted room or not. And if you're too chicken to stay the night, at least grab a bite or drink at the bar and restaurant open 7 days a week. So as you can see, the Wild West is still alive, so go out and see it for yourself. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Michael Newman. We'll see you next week with another adventure on New Mexico True Television.